Greetings, gentlemen. It is I, Victor von Frankenstein, the Grateful MGTOW. Back again with more content as promised. Welcome. Let's get started. So, just got done with work and heading on home, getting ready to enjoy my weekend. Hope everybody has a fantastic weekend, safe out there. But just want to talk to you gentlemen about some basic observations that I have been making while I've been at work. And it's one thing for us to make observations on the internet, and it is one thing for us to have conversations with each other in the community, in the greater community, express our concerns, analyze some of the happenings, some of the universal synchronicities that we all see. But there's nothing like the real world to reinforce some of these messages that we put out there. Especially when you hear some of these reinforcements coming from the blind, blue-pilled brothers that still haven't woke up. Now, the other morning when I went to break, thank God we get a half-hour break, and they got cable television inside of the break room. I was greeted by an entire group of gentlemen sitting in the break room watching Friends. And I just had to say it. I looked around, I gave a little laugh, and I was like, wow, this is a true form of masculinity that I haven't ever seen before. A group of men sitting here watching Friends. Jesus H. Christ. What a fucking travesty. I just looked around, laughed a little bit, and I was like, somebody fucking put a bullet in my head. But every time I have the opportunity to work with some of these gentlemen and work closely with them and have just some friendly conversation, you know, just making small talk, it always comes up. Their lives, their relationships, their wives. And you can hear it in their voices. That level of regret. And when I voice some of my red pill opinions, of course I always try to keep myself fairly hidden when it comes to giving anybody some serious red pills. But I always tell gentlemen, and I have expressed this to some of the ladies that I work with also, like, yeah, that's why I'm single. And I get the same crazy looks, or I get the same crazy questions, because I've told a few of them, like, yeah, I've been single for 8 years. Oh, it's now 9 years. But I get the same response from a good majority of them. Man, that must be nice. I'm like, you goddamn right it's fucking nice. I don't have to answer to nobody. I don't have to make compromises. I don't have to compromise my principles, my values. I don't have to obey anybody. I do as I please. I go where I want, when I want. And when it comes to money and financials, emotional, spiritual, any of those problems of these gentlemen, I can clearly hear it in their lives. And a lot of them, they know that they're stuck. They know they're stuck. And they hate it. And I almost feel that they have a certain level of envy when I talk about it. And the only thing that I can do is dole out a little red pill information here and there. And it always surprises me how blind most of these people are. How much they've been herded by their shepherds on the mainstream media, on the radio, by their women. And when it comes to the few ladies that I am forced to interact with at work, they always ask, "Why are you single?" And I don't usually talk to the ladies. I am not about to give them any information that would ever implicate me in the communities that I am a part of. But I have noticed something amongst a lot of females when I do interact with them. They're always very surprised that I am single. And a lot of them are young. Usually in their early 20s to mid-20s. And I have contemplated this problem throughout my lifetime. Now, I try to be a humble man in my own humility, but I know that I am not by any means an ugly man. I am fairly attractive. I would put myself on the average scale, I would guess. Somewhere around a 5 or a 6, I guess. Difficult to judge oneself without being, arrogant or conceited, which I just don't have that type of narcissism in me. But I have noticed one thing. The problem that existed for me when I was in my dating years, long before I found MGTOW or any of that, definitely long before I became monk, the problem that I've always had is that I am very young looking. For a man that's 40 years old, I've been told by many women, and I always get surprised looks by many people in general when I tell them that I'm 40. I have had some people say, "Man, you don't look like you're, past your 30s." Which is a good thing in a lot of ways. But the problem that I have always noticed for myself is that the women in my age group, and I have seen some of the women that I went to school with, and they look like goddamn grandmas. So for somebody like myself, I appear young, but I always get treated like daddy by those women in the past. But when we're talking about the younger women. But the older women, there ain't no way in hell that I would ever approach women of my age. They're just not attractive. And we all know that the wall takes no prisoners. Now, this isn't me advocating for anybody to go out there, date, any of that stuff. Everybody knows my position. I'm just pointing out certain observations that I've made throughout my lifetime. And they definitely presented me with certain hurdles that I tried to overcome until I found MGTOW. Until I found the red pill. And until my life was saved. Saved from chasing after and simping for these women, which I never really was a simp. There's a reason that most of the time I would usually get into fights with my girlfriends or women in general, because I had never had a problem calling out feminism when I saw it. Whether they're feminists, full-blown feminists, or the tradcon chameleons, they're one and the same, and I was always able to see that for what it was. So I never really technically would ever have considered myself a simp, but I definitely went out of my way to try to be a gentleman back in the day when I was dating. But yeah, gentlemen, just wanted to get on here and share a little story time, share a little observations that I've made in the past several weeks out in the real world, communicating with men, seeing the regrets and the downfalls that they have faced. And it's unfortunate that they too haven't been saved. Usually takes some type of tragic incident before men wake up and realize the mistakes and the pitfalls that they have fallen into. Hope this message finds you gentlemen well. I wish you all a good weekend. Talk to you again real soon.